Welcome to the Movie Zone. Today, we are recapping the 2002 action thriller movie, The Bourne Identity, starring Matt Damon and based on a novel by Robert Ludlum by the same name. In the age of modern warfare, this film shows the deadliest weapon is still a soldier with the right training. Let's begin. The movie starts on a very stormy night with a male body seen floating among the Mediterranean waves 60 miles south of Marseille, France, with a strobe flashing. An Italian fishing boat passes by the body. A group of Italian fishermen is seen to be playing cards below deck. One of the Italian fishers spots a man drifting in the sea while going to throw something overboard. 5 fishermen haul the man onto their ship, presuming he was dead, but then see him move. The group takes him down to their card table and lays him there. The ship doctor comes in to tend to his wounds, as we discover he has 2 gunshots in his back. After successfully removing the 2 gunshots from his back, the doctor notices a scar on the man's hip, which he cuts into to find a small metal capsule with a red LED display that seems to emit a series of numbers. The doctor examines the capsule to find out it projects an account number for a bank in Zurich when he is suddenly attacked by the man who has now regained consciousness. The man interrogates what is going on and where he is, and the doctor introduces himself as Giancarlo, explaining that he had been saved from the waves in the sea and needs to rest. When asked for his name, the man reveals that he cannot remember his name and faints. The scene cuts off to Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, Langley, Virginia. Located within the CIA offices, Daniel Zorn is seen to be rushing through the vicinity and enters Alexander Conklin's office and confirms that the mission has failed. Conklin looks at a picture of a yacht and a shoreline, and the scene fades away. Back in the fishing boat, the man is seen to be helping the fishers to catch fish while recovering and trying to remember who he is. After 2 weeks on the boat, Giancarlo comes to check on the man, and he exclaims how he knows how to tie knots, write, add, subtract, and speak different languages, but still, nothing is coming back to his memory. Giancarlo tells him to rest well, and his memory might eventually come back, but the man expresses his doubt about whether his memory will return or not. The next day, the fishing boat docks in Italy. Giancarlo gives the man enough money to get to Switzerland, and he gets off the boat. The man proceeds to take a train to Zurich and ends up sleeping on a park bench on a snowy night. 2 police officers approach the man and warn him about how the park is closed and that sleeping in the park is prohibited. The officer asks for his identification papers, but when he cannot provide any, they start to arrest him. But the man exhibits his combat prowess and disarms them effortlessly while rendering the officers unconscious. He then goes on to flee the scene, discarding his jacket and the policeman's gun. Back at the CIA headquarters, a group of men is watching the footage of Nikwana Wambosi speaking to the press. He looks at the camera saying that someone had tried to kill him. A CIA officer explains that the footage is from Paris 2 days ago and that Wambosi is a problem because he is writing a book about the agency's history in Africa and threatened to name names of CIA operatives. Wambosi wants to be put back into power, otherwise he would reveal the information. The officials then go on to explain that the director wants to know if anyone from the CIA was involved in Wambosi's assassination attempt. Afterward, Deputy Director Ward Abbott leaves the room and meets with Alexander Conklin. Abbott talks about Treadstone and asks if it has been involved with the assassination attempt on Wambosi's life. Conklin confirms the assassination attempt and claims that they had lost contact with their assassin, but have been trying to find him for the last 2 weeks. Back in the Gemeinschaft Bank in Zurich, Switzerland, the man is seen to be entering the bank. He inquires to access his account, and he gives the number from the device on his hip. He takes the elevator to reach a high-security vault where, before entering, a security guard asks to scan his fingerprint into a machine. A safe deposit box is brought to him, which he opens to find an American passport with his name, Jason Bourne, and a home address in Paris. Bourne then lifts the top layer of the box and finds several more passports of different nationalities containing his picture under different names, $100,000 in cash in various currencies, credit cards, airline tickets, and a pistol. He takes everything from the box and carries it into a red bag, but leaves the gun in the box and returns it. Before leaving, he asks the receptionist how long it had been since he had been there, and he is told that it's been about 3 weeks. As he exits the building, a suspicious man seems to be watching him exit, then makes a call. Bourne then uses a payphone to get himself connected to his home in Paris. He hears his voice on a recorded message, so hangs up and walks through the street. Along the way, 2 policemen seem to be following him, but he has yet to notice. As he crosses a snow-covered road, Bourne notices the pair of police officers watching him from across the street, so he quickens his pace and runs in front of a train, only to look over his shoulder and see them following him. He sees a couple of police cars driving on the road, so he quickly enters the U.S. consulate in the vicinity as the policemen fail to enter the consulate. Waiting in the line, he notices a bit of a scuffle involving a young woman as she failed to get her visa approved. Eventually, the American and Swiss authorities attempt to capture him, but he displays advanced combat skills and the alert is sounded, getting the civilians to evacuate. He sprints toward the upper floors while being pursued by the police. At last, he enters the building's emergency staircase and tries to scale the outside of the building. In the briefest moment, the policemen fail to capture him and he exits the vicinity. After the chase, Bourne offers Marie Helena Cruz, a German student in desperate need of money, $20,000 to take him to Paris, the address on his Jason Bourne passport in her car. Meanwhile, Alexander Conklin, the head of the CIA Black Ops Group Operation Treadstone, assures Deputy Director Abbott that he will destroy any evidence connecting them to Bourne, who is responsible for the failed assassination attempt on Wombosi. He alerts 3 elite assassins to be dispatched to Paris to take down Bourne, the Professor, Mannheim, and Castell. We continue to a scene where Bourne and Marie are talking in the car on their way to Paris. Marie expresses her doubt as to why a man was willing to pay $40,000 in dollars just to get to Paris. Unable to dodge the question, Bourne frustratingly reveals that he has lost his memory of his identity and explains his whole situation. When they stop to rest in a restaurant, Bourne goes on to reveal the various fake passports and also showcases his extreme perception skills to Marie, explaining that this is very unusual. Jason and Marie arrive at the address and enter the building as the housekeeper recognizes Jason. After searching his room, Bourne finds out that he was in the shipping business. Redialing the phone in his apartment, he is connected to Hotel Regina in Paris, where he finds out that he was registered to the hotel with the name John Michael Caine, one of his aliases. Upon further talking, we find out that Caine, his fake name, died in a car accident 2 weeks ago. Castell smashes through the window with a machine gun and engages in hand-to-hand combat with Bourne. After defeating him, Marie finds a wanted poster with both their picture and details. Bourne wishes to interrogate him, but he throws himself out the window. As they escape the building, Bourne advises Marie to leave him as he is trying to find out who is after him while not knowing his own identity. He tells her to go to the police to explain everything that happened, but she refuses and says they'll figure something out. They go through an epic police car chase along the streets of Paris and they enter a secluded parking lot, narrowly escaping. Morgue in Paris, France. Conklin arranges to fake a dead body to pose as Caine, to fool Wombosi into thinking his assassin was dead, but Wombosi denies that it was him. After the CIA is informed about this through their contact in France, Conklin commands the Professor to kill Wombosi. Wombosi is sniped by the assassin in his own house in Paris as he walks by a window. Conklin then told Ward Abbott that the killing was done by Bourne himself and that he would return now. When Abbott conveys his doubt, Conklin assured Abbott that they would clean this up. Back to Bourne. After escaping the police, they spend the night in a Paris hotel as Bourne cuts Marie's hair off and dyes it a darker tone to disguise herself, and they presumably slept with each other. The following morning, Bourne decides to go to Hotel Regina where John Michael Caine had stayed to get his hotel bill to find out about his identity. They reach Hotel Regina and Marie successfully acquires the hotel bill by disguising herself as Caine's assistant. After making multiple phone calls and an office visit, Bourne learns that he was a CIA Black Ops assassin who used the name John Michael Caine in a CIA project called Treadstone. But he had failed his mission to assassinate Wombosi in his yacht 3 weeks earlier. Bourne and Marie then travel to a rural French countryside to take refuge in Marie's friend Eamon's farm home. Here, Jason tells Marie that he wants to forget who he was and what he did. Due to pressure from Abbott, Conklin and his team worked hard to track down Bourne's current location. The information is then passed from the CIA Paris operative to the professor. In the morning, they find Eamon's dog missing, which is a sign they are being attacked. Bourne picks up a double-barreled shotgun and blows up a propane tank to decrease the visibility of the sniper while the others hide in the basement. After an intense confrontation and a shootout in a tall wheat field, Bourne overpowers the professor and shoots him in the arm and chest. Bourne interrogates him, revealing the connection to Operation Treadstone, but dies almost instantly. Afterward, Bourne gives away all his money except $30,000 to send Marie away with Eamon to protect her, although they were both very reluctant as they had fallen in love. Bourne then uses the professor's cell phone to arrange a meeting with Conklin in Pont Neuf at 5:30, falsely reporting that Marie had died. Conklin then catches a flight to Paris to clean this mess and also contacts many CIA personnel to assist him. At 5:30, when Bourne sees that Conklin was not alone on the bridge, he refuses to meet him, but successfully plants tracking device on Conklin's car to find the location of Treadstone's safe house in Paris. Following the vehicle into the safe house, Bourne creates a diversion and also closes all communication to the building. After entering, he holds Conklin and the Paris operative at gunpoint. Interrogating Conklin about Treadstone, Bourne eventually remembers his failed mission. He was instructed to make the murder of Wombosi look like it was done by Wombosi's men, but he failed to kill him when he saw him with his children and wife. This causes him to get shot in the back twice as he jumped into the Mediterranean Sea. Ultimately, after remembering, Bourne exclaims to Conklin that he wanted to call everything off and resign from Treadstone. He also threatens Conklin to not follow him, but he sets off an alarm and backup comes. Bourne then has another epic shoot-off with several CIA agents and escapes eventually. Later on, we see the third assassin, Mannheim, finish Conklin off through the order from Abbott, who wanted to shut down Treadstone for good. Later, Abbott is seen to be reporting to a governmental committee that Treadstone was no more, but there was a new project codenamed Blackbriar. In the end, Bourne reunites with Marie on a remote island in Mykonos, where she is seen to be running a scooter rental service. What do you think about this gripping movie? Tell us in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.